Why
because
is
we
that
don't
not?
have that knowledge of self. Like Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So Africa is really all we know, because that's the boat we came off the west coast of Africa. When we came off the boats, they just gave us Africa. They spoon-fed Africa to our face. Jesse Jackson called us African American, so that's all we believe. But you would see pockets of history, the Denmark Vessies, the F.S. Cherry, the Matthew Wentworth. You'll see throughout history of black men and women that knew that they were Israelites.
Right.
You'll see that. And then now it's getting more popular because more of our people are waking up to who we are.
Right. Why would they hide the fact that
The streets unplugged. You know we gotta plug the streets in, because the streets ain't been plugged in a while. I swear to God, my mama.
there's a banking app? You know that?
Yes.
No, I'm keeping it real. Like, listen, we're gonna get you paid, but today I want to get you really paid, right?
All right.
There's a banking app, right?
What's that?
Called Current. Right?
Okay.
It got a lot of useful feature, right? One of the ones that stand out to me the most is you can access up to $750 of your paycheck before you get paid.
Now that's lit.
If you get approved, right?
For sure.
Listen, with Current, they got stuff like paycheck advance, fee-free overdraft, the bill card, listen, and more, right? But if you focus on like building credit or just want a smoother way to like manage your money, it handles everything in one app. Listen, I actually like this app. You know,
Current app.
Yeah, that's why I partner with them. And right now they giving my supporters, or even you get it if you use this link, you get $75 when you switch over your direct deposit and sign up today.
Let's go.
Right, listen, but so if they want to sign up, all they gotta do is click the link down there or scan the QR code, right?
Make sure y'all scan that code. I got the app.
You got the app?
I got the app.
Listen, it's a problem. The streets unplugged. You know we gotta plug the streets in, because streets ain't been plugged in a while. I swear to God, my mama, stop playing with me. Listen, this is a special episode, right? A lot of people been wondering, when you look at your skin, what are you, right? Do you have a nationality? Are you black? Are you Afro-American? Are you colored, right? Through the years, your name have changed. But who are you? To help us find out, we got the captain, right? And listen, we're going to find out why they call him captain, but the streets unplugged. You know we got to plug the streets in, because streets ain't been plugged in a while. I swear to God on my mama, stop playing with me. How you get a name like captain?
That. I might steal that shit.
Steal what?
Stop playing with me.
Come on, gang. No,
I'm gonna say that shit 3 times in my brain, and it's gonna stick.
It's gonna stick.
Yeah, it's gonna stick. I'm gonna steal your shit. I'm gonna give you the credit though.
No, listen.
I'm gonna be like, stop playing. That's part of my now. When I debate and battle,
right?
I'm gonna give you all the credit in the world, but I like that. Stop playing with me.
Okay, listen. So we can understand we can't be playing. Why do they call you captain? Listen, because I just want to know, because like I don't feel comfortable calling another man captain. No, I'm keeping it real, right? Why do they call you captain?
Okay, so captain obviously is not my name. Captain is a rank I've earned from the work that I put in my school. So in our school, you could be like an officer, captain, or general. Right. And so depending on the work that you do, that's the way you get your name. So they call me captain because I earned the rank of captain in our rank structure in the school.
Right.
Like I put a lot of work in. The school I'm in is ISUPK, or Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Some people may know us as One West, like WAC calls us One West, or he says ISUPK as well. So that's what we are. That's that's the organization I'm in.
Israelite.
Right.
Right. For everybody watching this, Hebrew Israelite.
Well, Israelite. Hebrew is more the language we speak. Hebrew is almost like slang. When you see a Dominican in Puerto Rico, you might say they're Spanish because of the language they speak. Right. But they're Puerto Rican or Dominican. So we're Israelites. Hebrew is the language we speak. So we might say, hey, what's up, Hebrew, in slang form, but we're Israelites.
So it's not called Hebrew Israelite?
No, it's just Israelite.
So where did that come from?
I think when we hit the scene,
right,
to discredit us, they would call us the Black Hebrew Israelite. Right. The term BHI would be the derogatory way to kind of discredit, oh, that's them Black Hebrew Israelite niggas out there on the street talking and stuff like that. So that's how it was birthed. So sometimes we use it to our advantage. Like everything that's a negative don't have to be a negative. Right. So sometimes we flip it to a positive. Right. So like a white person, I'd say, hey, don't use that. But if a brother use it, it may not bother me. So it just depends. Right.
Mm-hmm. So is Israelite? Is Israelite Jews?
Israelite is more than Jews, because Jews is like one tribe in the Israelite pyramid. So in the Israelite paradigm, there's a hierarchy.
Right.
So Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Gad, Naphtali, Issachar, Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin. I think I got them all. So it's 12 tribes that make up Israel, all different. So like Jews or Judah would be like blacks, but let's say a Dominican brother, he's Simeon. A Haitian brother, he's Levi. A West Indian brother is Benjamin.
Right.
Somebody in South America, like the Mexicans, they're Issachar. So it's different tribes in North America that make up Israel.
Right.
So Jew is more slang because like when the tribes split, Jew became like the common term to be used for all Israel in some context.
Right. So it's more of a Western thing.
I would say no, it's biblical to use the term Jew, but I would say Eastern and Western. Like when the so-called Jew, the imposter came out, and he started calling himself Jewish, that's why people use Jews, because he don't talk about the other tribes.
Right.
You'll rarely hear him say Israelite.
Right.
He's either going to say Jew or Israeli.
Right. What's the so-called Jew?
So-called Jews are the ones that's pretending to be us, but they not us.
Who's that?
Oh, that's the white man that come. They're either Ashkenaz or Amalek. Like the ones that divided Palestine in half in 1948, those are the imposter. Those are the fake Jews.
Right.
Yeah, so when we say so-called Jews, just like if I say so-called black man, because what is black? I'm pretty sure you would say black is a color that they just put on us. Even Afro-American, your Afro don't make you who you are. So we would say so-called black, so-called Puerto Rican, because that's not who you are by your ethnicity.
So I wonder, is this the same Jew? If everybody watching this, I know you remember Hitler, and Hitler said, return the Jews back to their original land, and he'll stop fighting them.
Yeah.
What was he talking about?
So actually, Hitler had a book too, and he actually called the Jews the bastard because they were imposters.
Right.
And a lot of people, now I don't justify none of the crimes that Hitler committed.
Right.
But Hitler would always say, y'all mad at me because I don't want these people here or these bastards here.
Right.
But don't none of y'all want them either.
Right.
Like no other country in Europe rather, wanted these bastards.
Right.
And that's why their first location, they looked at Haiti, they looked at South America, they looked at Africa, and then they went to Palestine. So Hitler was bringing out that they were imposters even when they was in Germany. That's what a lot of people don't know historically.
Right.
So when he calling them the bastard, because they're the imposter.
Right.
That's what that's the point that he was
making.
making.
So what did they kill and attack Hitler for then? If he was right.
If you ask the right historian, some would say Hitler was a Jewish man himself. That's what some would say.
I heard Hitler was a Jewish man but couldn't fight for the Jews, but went to the army over there and started fighting.
Right.
And
so you'll get that part of history. Then there's a part of history where the Jewish man was circumventing the Germans in power and then not sharing in power. And so what made Hitler popular is because he wanted to give power back to the Germans.
Or that he could speak.
Yeah. Now, listen, a great orator will always be a leader. If you go back into history, you'll see some of the greatest leaders could speak well and they could lead well. And that's what Hitler did. And Hitler knew that the way that these so-called Jews was taking over different regions or trying to take over different lands and manipulate through buying property and stuff like that it would be easy to galvanize the Germans to fight against them.
Was Hitler racist?
You know what's crazy? Another point in history people don't know, Hitler worked with the Japanese.
I said, was Hitler racist?
I'm about to answer the question, man. So I would say Hitler was a racist, and he would use, like when black people came over there, because he knew how black people were treated in America, he would treat black people good in Germany, like he treated Jesse Owens and all of them good in Germany. But not because he loved black people, but he knew that they would piss people off. So yes, Hitler was a racist.
You believe in some of the principles and some of the things that Hitler stood for?
I don't know all of them to agree or disagree. Only thing I do agree is that there's nothing wrong with putting your people first.
So you're saying you're a racist?
No. I would, at best you could call me prejudiced. Racist, I'm going to tell you the difference. I'm going to tell you the difference. So a prejudiced person is going to speak against other races for what they do.
Right.
A racist person is not just going to speak about what they do. They're going to put things in positions to stop that other race from achieving what they're achieving.
Right.
So what make Hitler a racist, he did things to stop the so-called Jewish man from achieving certain things. Just like in America, what makes this place racist is they put certain things in place so that we could not get ahead.
Right.
That's the difference between racist and prejudice.
So prejudice is normal and racism is pretty bad.
Yes, I would say prejudice is normal because I think everybody is prejudiced. They're just scared to say it.
You said everybody is?
Everybody. There's nobody that don't think that their race is first.
What creates?
Except black people. Black people are the only people who fight that shit.
What about a child that's born and don't know a race? Like just a child and don't know a race, like don't know if it's black.
What's the
white.
race of the child? Give me the race
Yeah,
of the
that's what
child.
I'm saying. What's the race? What's the race to a child if a child don't know the race?
No. What is the child? Give me the race of the child we talking about that don't know about it.
The child don't know the race. There's no race. So what do you tell a child that don't know nothing about race?
Here's the sad part about the child. The child is born into whatever race he is. He's born into that mentality.
Right.
If that's a black child born, that black child is going to be born and almost trained subconsciously about what racist attacks to avoid.
Right.
He going to be driving in the car with his mama. The cops get behind him. He going to hear his mama say, "Oh, look, the cops behind us." When they go into a store and they get around white people, when they're around black people, they're not going to say ma'am and sir. But when they get around white people, they're going to say ma'am and sir.
Right.
They're going to calm the black person down when black children down when the white person comes around because that's the inferiority. It's almost like they subconsciously just breed it. There's a good study they had. It was called the mice in the cherry tree test, where they had this cherry tree like in the middle, like this cup, and around it they put this electric wire.
Right.
As the mice would go to it, it would shock them. And so after it shocked them a while, the mice wouldn't go around it, the cherry tree at all.
Right.
They bred them mice with female mice that had no knowledge of that cherry tree. When them children was born, they wouldn't go around that cherry tree either. And they learned that the effects of that shock affected them genetically to where when those children was born, they carried that same genetic marker where when they smelled that tree, they stayed away from it, even though they removed the electric fence around it. They had to breed it like maybe 3 or 4 times before the memory of that cherry tree would come out of it.
Right. So you comparing that rat to a human?
The concept of genetics. You can go even further. They did a study where they said slavery is in our DNA.
Right.
And you know how easy that is? Alcoholism, right?
Right.
If someone has an alcohol addiction, they'll look at their family history. Because when a woman has that baby, first of all, that sperm comes from that man, the placenta comes from that man. So a lot of that DNA and inheritance come from the man.
Right.
Then you take the information that the woman has, and then the woman is carrying that child for 9 months. While the baby's in the womb, if they're stressing that baby, it's gonna be stressing her, it affects the baby.
Right.
Whatever the woman eats affects the baby. If the woman does drugs, it affects the baby.
Right.
That's how easy trauma is passed down from one generation to another.
Okay. So you suggesting that knowing who you are can help fix that trauma?
Yeah, because for us as Israelites, if we was to eat different, we wouldn't pass down that diabetes genetically.
Right.
If we was to understand the consummation of alcohol and how a lot of people drink alcohol from stress, and how that can hereditarily affect our kids, maybe we wouldn't be alcoholics.
Right.
If we loved who we were supposed to love, like our own people, marry within our own people, then that would also change how we felt. A lot of self-hatred is developed over interracial marriage and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things you can discover by just having your own identity.
Right. Speaking of marriage, right? Listen, if you're watching this, you have an interesting view of women. No, I'm for real. You have a view of women that women deserve and shall be and have a need to be trained.
Yeah.
Right. So for everybody's watching this, even the women, can you explain that? Because I have seen you say that around women and they got uncomfortable.
Right.
But I have seen the same women that got uncomfortable at first fall victim to your training within the next couple of seconds.
Right.
Right. So what is it and why do women want to be trained, or do women really want to be trained? Is that something that you're just saying?
Yeah, it's like, words have power, what you say.
Right.
So I know the minute I say train, if I didn't use the word train, if I said women like to be gained, that's acceptable.
Right.
Because women will tell you, nah, you got to have enough game to get me. You ain't got enough game. You can't spit nothing to get me. But if I say train, women have, especially our women, have been let loose without training for so long that the reason why I say train is because it's going to make them, like, before we did this interview, right, there was 2 sisters out there in the kitchen.
Younger ones.
Right, 2 young sisters out there in the kitchen,
and they
right?
didn't like what you were saying.
No, that's not true. What you just said. So when I walk in there, they like, you know, what y'all do? I say, we the Israelites, XYZ. They said, what y'all talk about? I said, well, me and Unc, we do the X-Files. We talk about aliens. We talk about God, Bible, women, and how they need to be trained. I said it just like that. Train? Ain't nobody going to train me. You going to get this money and think you can control me? And the first thing I said was, well, if a man got to control you with money, that's not training. Because if he lose that money, does he have the power to train you? And then I said to her, I said, you might not like the word train, but there is a man that you will submit to.
Right.
And the more we talked, at the end of it, she said, I understand.
Right.
So I use the word training as a shock value. Just like if I tell a woman I have more than one woman, it's a shock value. But you know what that shock value does? It piques their interest. We think that, like, men think you can't be honest with the woman and say, I want to train you, but every man wants to train their woman. And when a man gets a woman, he don't care what she did with her ex, how many boyfriends or girlfriend, whatever she had in her former life, he don't care about. But he does care how you act with me.
Right.
And he wants you to act accordingly.
Right.
I just have the heart to just tell you up front what you're walking into.
Well, me, I think a woman should have freedom of speech. Should be able to talk. Do you think women talk too much? A lot of people say, oh, man, black women talk too much or white women talk too much. Do you think the race distinguish how far a woman need to be trained?
I think our lust over white women is why we give them a greater pass than we do black women. Because white women talk worse and more than black women. Because white women are more free than black women. White women are not oppressed, never have been oppressed. Black women have. So when black women are talking, they're talking from a place of hurt sometimes. They're talking from a place of neglect. They're talking from a place from not having daddy issues. They're talking from that place. And they really want a hug. They really want somebody to understand that. Right. If you talk to that core in that woman, you'll bring out her true nature. Whereas a white woman, if she gets with you, it's just a fetish.
Wasn't all women being paid less at one point in time?
But I ain't talking about what they do economically.
Okay.
Because even the white woman wanting to get into the job field is because she was tired of that white man. The only oppression she ever really got, if you want to call that oppression, is it was legal to beat your wife. And so like the term wife beater, like the shirts we wear, wife beater, that don't come from black men. It's a picture of a white man that had a wife beater on because they used to beat the shit out of their white women.
No. Yeah,
look that up. Up until 1973, you could beat your woman. That was their feminist movement. They wanted to get out that house for that reason. But they were never oppressed like a black woman was.
It's crazy because in the Quran it speaks on you can
Quran
hit your
diabolical. Listen, that me and Wack got cool over that passage in the Quran.
That you could beat your woman.
Yes, because this was like maybe 5, 6. Time flies. So it's like maybe 5, 6 years ago. It's black Muslims on the stage. Now, I know they don't believe that you could beat your woman, but they believe in the Quran.
Right.
So I bring up that surah that says you can strike your woman. And I'm going back and forth with these Muslims. They saying we don't teach that. I keep telling these black Muslims. I said, I know you don't. The reason why I'm saying black is because Arab Muslims do believe you can do that.
Right.
But black Muslims will say, no, you can't beat your woman.
Right.
So that's the distinction. But if you tell me to believe in the Quran, and I read that and I beat my woman, I ask the Muslims, the black Muslims, am I wrong for following the Quran that you told me to follow? And that's where we had the battle. Because you're telling me no, you're telling me I'm wrong, but then you're telling me to follow the book. So is the book wrong or are you wrong?
Right.
You can't pick and choose. So when it comes to our women, I don't think a woman talks too much if she knows what to say.
Right.
If she knows what to say, she does not talk too much.
Right. What about getting struck? Right. Do you believe in striking women?
No, I don't believe no woman should get hit, but at the same time, I think a woman should control her mouth.
Right.
I'll give you 2 examples that people will resonate with, and it both happened in the elevator.
Okay.
In one elevator, Ray Rice's wife spit on him. He knocked her out cold. Which is damn near a natural reaction. She spit on him. He knocked her out. He pulled out the elevator. That brother never played football again.
Right.
And they crucified him for it.
Right.
In the same elevator incident, Solange is going off on Jay-Z. Jay-Z is standing there like this, like a scared ass nigga, like, man, I better not do nothing. She going off in the elevator. And then he got clowned, but he's doing what they say a man is supposed to do by not hitting a woman, and he still got made fun of.
Right.
So I don't believe that anybody should get hit. I don't think I don't think a man should beat on a woman. You should have more control of yourself.
Right.
But I also don't believe that you should be able to say whatever it is you want to out of your mouth, because you should know your man too.
Right.
And there's things that women are like a park bench and like a public park bench. You know, like a public park bench, anybody can walk up to, sit down, and everything, and they speak in that fashion. They don't speak with a guardrail in front of them. They don't speak with a hedge around them. They'll be 5'2" and get up in a 6-foot nigga's face, talking crazy, reckless into them, and then if that 6-foot man pushes them or something like that, then it's his fault. And again, I'm not justifying his behavior, but I'm also not justifying her behavior either.
Do it ever cause to hit a woman? Is there ever a situation where hitting a woman become okay?
If you're defending yourself.
How can you? So what do you mean defending yourself? Like, is she having no weapon, or she has?
Yeah, she has a weapon. If she strikes you,
strike you with no weapon, and it don't hurt.
If she strikes you with a hand, I don't think a woman can physically hurt a man unless she's bigger than him. Like, you might have I've seen videos. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
There's some big bitches.
There's some big motherfuckers that you see them. I've seen some big women roll up a little dude. You know what I'm saying? So in that instance, yeah. But if you strike a man, you can't tell him he cannot strike back.
Right.
That's what women need to be taught. I got a twin sister. This real life story. I got a twin sister, and I was raised don't hit girls.
Right.
My sister would hit me. I never hit her back. One day, my mama saw it. My mama saw her hit me. My mother would come to me and she says, Tyree, why you didn't hit your sister? I said, well, you told me we ain't supposed to hit girls. She said, the next time she hits you, you hit her back. Armed up with this new ammo, man, I couldn't wait for this motherfucker to hit me. Yeah.
Right.
Yo, and she hit me, and I popped her ass one time. My sister never hit me again, and she learned that lesson. So the problem is women are not taught barriers. That's why I said they need training.
Right.
Women need to know, don't say this to this man.
Right.
Don't get up in a man's face. If it don't do it, like, you got to have some type of self-control.
What about women that just don't listen? They can't follow direction.
Is this before you fuck her or after you fuck her?
Both.
If it's before you fuck her, you shouldn't fuck her if you know she wild like that, because you know what come with it. You should train her before you fuck her.
Right. How do you train her before you fuck her?
You tell her you control that mouth. And it's something that you got to constantly work on. Right. If you got enough game, you can control that woman's mouth. I do it all the time.
Right. So you had someone with bad mouths that you end up. Yeah. What's that process like? For everybody watching this, what's that process like? Because they sitting at home and the woman is treating them like shit. And they don't know how to stop it.
Because most women, they run their mouth, especially if it's a pretty woman. They can get away with running their mouth. And you know what that man do? Over time, he's going to plead with her to talk to her again. I'm not going to do that.
Me neither.
If I'm talking to her and you lie, hey, all right, Lord be with you. I'll talk to you later. And then they'll contact me. And I say, okay, if you can act like this, we can talk. If you can't act like that, we can't talk. Just like I'm not going to deal with a woman that's like that. No.
So you just like talk to her at separate times. When she act like this, you don't talk to her.
Yeah, that's
so you don't
correct.
Just shun them off, like don't fuck with them no more. It's just you don't mess with them when they having that low vibrational.
Yeah, when they having that low vibrational, I'll tell them, I say, I'm not listening to none of this shit. I'd say, and that's before. Now, does that mean you'll never have to deal with it? Yeah. Does that mean I've never gone back and forth with a woman? No, I have gone back and forth with a woman. But I don't tolerate that mouth, and you got to set them rules of what you won't accept. And the reason why I'm using fuck them first, because just like a woman shouldn't give up that pussy unless she got what she want out of that man first. Because once you give that thing up, you've accepted everything from him. Once you have sex with that woman is loud mouth, you have sex with her while she got that loud mouth, you can't tell her to change. In her mind, shit, you done took this pussy, shit, we together now. What you gonna do, leave? That's the kind. But now, if you tell her, nah, I don't want to deal with you like that, reject her. Because women can't take that. You reject that woman and let her know, as beautiful as she is, as fine as that ass might look and them breasts might look, it's not enough because of your attitude. You give her some rejection, it'll make it be something. Because no man has ever really rejected her. Right. They're so used to rejecting women, men.
Listen, it's crazy you say that. Listen, if you're watching this, they did a study. And the study they did, they said that smacking a person and giving them silence give them the same effect. So what he's saying has value, right? It had a lot of value.
Yeah, real
right?
talk.
But speaking on religion, right? Because you said something about Muslims. But I want to get deep on religion because a lot of times, a lot of people have been following religion and they don't know why they're following religion.
Right.
Do you follow a religion?
No.
Why not?
Religion, anybody could be that shit. Religion, I think the root word of religion means to subjugate.
Right.
And so I don't want to be subjugated to anything.
Right.
I'm an Israelite though, but that's what I am ethnically. Like if I wasn't an Israelite, you would never hear me talk about the Bible. I would throw the Bible away. You hear me talk about the Quran when I'm battling it, but I don't read the Quran. I don't study the Quran. I don't pray to Allah. I would never circle because that's not my culture.
Right.
I wouldn't go into African culture because that's not my culture. But religion lets you believe that you can just follow anybody else's culture.
Right.
And that's what black people do the most because we searching for something. We trying to be some type of spiritual. We trying to be connected to the higher beings and authorities and stuff like that. So now, if you ever hear me use I'm religion or religious or something like that, that's me trying to relate to my opponent.
Right.
Or me trying to relate to the people. But spiritually speaking, I'm an Israelite.
Right.
Ethnically speaking, I'm an Israelite.
Right. Why do you think religion was created?
The greatest form of control. You control a man's belief, you control them. You control their God, you control them.
Right.
If their God, like for us, our God looks like the very man that's oppressing us. And they got that shit down like that.
Right.
To where even no matter what they do to us, because the God that we believe in looks like them, we can't even come up against them. That's why religion was created.
Right.
You know, you heard me say so-called Jew earlier. The so-called Jewish man converted to Judaism to avoid being under the Byzantine Empire or the Islamic Empire.
Right.
Because the Christians and Muslims was at war with each other. They wanted to get this sect of white people to join them so that they could defeat either the Christians or the Muslims.
Right.
They said, if I convert to them, I'm going to have to convert to their religion. I'm going to be subjugated unto them. So they just said, no, I'm Judaism. I'm the Jew. So I don't have to be subject unto neither one of y'all.
Right.
Because that's what religion creates.
Right.
When any nation gets conquered by another nation, the first thing they do is impart their belief on them.
Right.
You can't believe in your God no more. You got to believe in our God. You
Right.
got to believe in our democracy. You got to believe in our way of life. So it's created to control you forever.
Right.
That's what religion is
You
for.
said something about the Bible, but then you say you're not religious.
Right.
Don't religious people follow the Bible?
No, I don't know no religious people that follow the Bible.
What you mean by that? The church, the pastor, they religious, they follow the Bible. Now you just lost me. I was with you until you just said that. What you mean? You got to break that down for people that's watching
I'm
this.
gonna tell you. So like, the church will tell you God's laws are done away with, except tithes. You got to pay tithe. I don't know no pastor that teaches you don't pay that 10%. But they will all tell you can eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. God, Jesus died. He nailed the laws to the cross. That's not in the Bible. You still have, God said the New Testament, he would put our law, he would put his laws in our inward part, in our brain. So you still got to keep the law. They tell you that Joseph didn't have sex with Mary to produce Christ. That's not in the Bible. They'll tell you God don't hate. That's not in the Bible. God hates. So all the things that the church tells you, they're going to tell you Jesus was born December 25th. You know how many different deities was born around that time? Because that's the winter solstice.
Right.
You got Saturnalia, that mistletoe when you go Nimrod, I said the mistletoe, the Christmas tree. All of that existed before Christianity was ever there. Right. Even Islam, that rock, that in that circle, that when they say they make their Hajj and they circle that rock in Mecca, that's a rock that they say is a meteor that fell from the sky that you got to circle 7 times and kiss it.
Right. And a lot of people know, I talk about this rock all the time, they bow and pray to, that is not from earth. And that's the crazy thing about it. It's not from
What's
Earth.
the proof? That is not, you ever seen it?
They tested it. But here's the thing, they won't allow nobody to touch it. So right now, if you go
So
over
it could
there,
be like a meteor is what you're saying.
man, it could be anything. They won't let nobody touch it. They won't let nobody examine it.
Right. So let's say if it's a meteor, we still ain't supposed to worship no damn meteor.
I don't think you do. But
Yeah.
they think you do.
Yeah, they think you do. So
Right.
when I mention the Bible and I say the pastors and them don't follow it, that's what I mean.
Right.
Even going to church on Sunday, that's not in the Bible to go to church on Sunday.
Right.
But you can find the people that worship the sun in the sky.
Right.
That's the compromise that they made. So now we go to church on Sunday so the people that worship the sun can worship their God the same way that they can worship their God.
Right. You said something. Let's take them back.
Okay.
You said something about Joseph and Mary.
Yeah, they had sex.
You saying Jesus was not born in immaculate conception?
Nah. You know what's crazy? Immaculate conception has nothing to do with Jesus. Immaculate conception it was made up by the Roman Catholic Church where they say Mary was born sinless. That's what immaculate conception is. Virgin birth is where you're talking about Jesus.
But they kicked out the church because they thought she had sex, or for having sex.
That's what
Which
they
one
say
is
in the
it?
Bible, but that's not in the Bible. That's another lie.
Okay.
So in the Bible, it just simply says Joseph is the son, Jesus is the son of Joseph. It says it directly.
Right.
Mary says to Jesus, your father and I have sought thee sorrowing, talking about Joseph. I think Mary would know who Jesus' father is.
Right.
Jesus is called the son, Joseph is called the son of David, so is Jesus, because even the lineages belong to Joseph. They don't belong to Mary. When they want to create the dogma of Jesus being God, Jesus can't be God. They teach if he comes from a man because they think, and it's crazy because they make it seem like sex is bad. That's why the Roman Catholic Church teach don't have sex unless it's with a little boy.
Right. Right.
So like the priests can't get married, the nuns can't get married, but they're always having some type of evil ass sex,
Right.
which lets you know they have a sexual desire. Why not just fulfill that desire?
Right.
So the Immaculate Conception is about Mary being sinless. The virgin birth is when they try to teach you that Mary never had sex. But in the Bible, a virgin is just a young woman, whether she had sex or not. So if a woman has sex at 17, she's still a virgin because she's young.
Right.
But if a woman never has sex at 40, you're not calling her a virgin because she's old now. That's what a virgin is in the Israelite culture.
Right. So
Like
why-
one last thing, like you and I could never be virgins because a virgin is also something that you become when a woman gets her cycle. When a woman gets her flower, that's when she becomes a virgin. Like in Luke 2:36 in the Bible, it says Anna married her husband 7 years from her virginity. Meaning 7 years from when she got her flower or her period, that's when she married her husband. So let's say if she got it at 13, 7 years, she's 20, that's when she married her husband.
Right.
So a girl is not even a virgin until they get their period.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So not having sex don't have nothing to do with it. It's just a cycle.
It's just a cycle. Because if, like I said, if you 40, like you and I, we could never be virgins. We could just
Right.
be young men that never had sex.
Right. So why did they come up with the immaculate conception? Like why is it a thing? Why can't they just say, yo, Jesus' daddy is Joseph?
Because when you look at all the ancient cultures that surrounded Jerusalem at that time, the Greek goddesses had demigods, Roman goddesses had demigods. For those that don't know, a demigod is a god that has a human mother and a god father. And so as they're mixing with these other cultures, they make Jesus the same because they started pushing the narrative of Jesus as God. So as they're pushing Jesus as God, they say, well, how can he be God if he got two human parents? Then they would say, no, Joseph was just a stepdaddy. God made Mary pregnant. That's what they'll try to tell
So
you.
they say that. So was Jesus God then?
No, Jesus said out of his own mouth in John 20th chapter 17th verse, he says, go to my brethren and tell them I go to my God and your God. I go to my Father and your Father. Jesus said out of his own mouth he has a God.
Right. So why do people worship him as if he is God?
Because we want to believe in something that we can see. And it's easier to believe that Jesus is God because then when it comes to the laws that God tell us to keep, we can break them because the only person that can keep them was God.
Right. So did Jesus die for our sins?
Yes.
How?
Because when John 3:16, the scripture most people know, and it says, "For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believeth in him shall not perish and have everlasting life." That's only for the children of Israel. So that's not for like a white person, an African, a Chinese person. That's only for Israelite culture. So
Hold up. So he only died for your sins.
yeah, well, he died for yours too, because you're an Israelite.
I'm not Israelite.
You definitely an Israelite.
Well, I ain't got to that point yet.
Yeah, you might not have got to that point, but he died for the children of Israel. Like you would represent the lost Israelite. That's what you represent.
I mean, I'm crazy.
No. Well, okay, yeah, you want to go with crazy too. That's fine.
No, I'm
but
glad-
lost in the sense like you don't have your identity that God gave you.
I'm just asking the question. So what about, right, if Jesus only died for the black people, that means
Not black people, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Haitians. He died for other people.
Israelite is not a color.
No,
So explain that.
Yeah, so Israelites is not a color because we get a lot of flack because Mexicans are Israelites. Dominicans are Israelites. Guatemalans, Haitians, Panamanians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians,
So everything,
Native Indians, Seminole Indians. They all Israelites.
It's like everything but the white people.
Africans not Israelites. Yeah, and when I'm saying Africans, so on the continent of Africa, you could have some Israelites on the continent. So from a biblical perspective, the ethnic Africans will be called Hamites in the Bible.
Right.
So when I'm saying Africans are not Israelites, I'm talking about the Hamites, because you got tribes like the Igbo tribe, Ashanti tribe. So you have some of those tribes that we are among. So those of us over there would be them. But Africans are not us.
Right.
Arabs are not us.
Right.
East Indians, Chinese,
Right.
Japanese, Polynesians, Hawaiians, they're
Right.
not us.
Ain't you African American?
Well, African American, Jesse Jackson made that shit up in the 80s.
Come on, what you mean? So ain't black people from Africa then? We ain't from Africa?
We lived in the continent of Africa when we were stolen. That's true.
What do you mean stolen and lived in Africa? Everybody think we came from Africa.
No, when Israel fell as a state in 70 AD, Rome sacked Jerusalem, burned it to the ground, took all the gold and everything out of there. So you had Israelites that went into Europe, you had Israelites that went into Africa. So we lived in Africa among the tribes of Africa for thousands of years. Like I want to say like maybe 13 to 1400 years before
Right.
the slave trade started.
Right.
That's why you can see ancient maps that'll say land of Judah within the map.
Right.
And so when they came to catch slaves, it was one tribe selling another tribe. It wasn't one tribe selling their own tribe. So the European didn't come on the soil and catch us. That African, like that, what's that movie? Woman King is a good example.
Right.
The Dahomey tribe was one of the tribes that was catching us and then selling us. That's why you could look up on the names of slaves. You'll see Yah at the end of a lot of the names because Yah represents the Most High's name. Like Jeremiah, they would have the Yah at the end of it. So they knew exactly who they were selling when we got over here. Harriet Tubman is another example because she kept the history of knowing she's an Israelite.
Right. So they sold us because they knew we wasn't part of the African.
Yeah, so when they had to find who to sell, because slavery is not something that just black people went through. A lot of
Right.
different people went through it. So when it came time to sell people, they knew exactly what tribe they was going to sell.
Right.
And they sold us.
Right. So why today do we compare ourselves and say that we African? Why don't nobody say, yo, I'm Israelite? Why?
Because
is
we
that
don't
not-
have that knowledge of self. Like Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So Africa is really all we know. Because that's the boat we came off the west coast of Africa. When we came off the boats, they just gave us Africa. They spoon-fed Africa to our face. Jesse Jackson called us African American. So that's all we believe. But you will see pockets of history. The Denmark Vessies, the F.S. Cherry, the Matthew Wentworth. You'll see throughout history of black men and women that knew that they were Israelites.
Right.
You'll see that. And then now it's getting more popular because more of our people are waking up to who we are.
Right. Why would they hide the fact that that don't sit right with me? Why would they hide the fact that someone is Israelite? What kind of power or what do you get from being Israelite?
Here's what other nations know about the children of Israel that spiritually will blow your mind, is that they know that if they keep us breaking the commandments, then the God that hates iniquity will not be on our side. But the day that we wake up to who we are and keep the commandments, that God will be on our side. So it's important to keep us unidentifiable to each other. That's why we've been black, colored, Afro-American, Negro, and African-American, and now FBA. All of those different identities keeps us from identifying who we are, because once we identify as an Israelite, you got to find out what you did to offend that God, obey that God, and then your life can change.
Right. That's crazy. Now we got that. In the beginning, we talked about the names, and he just said and described how we got the names. But he has been saying a lot of things. He has been mentioning different gods.
Right. No. Well, the God of Israel is one God.
But you saying like people got different gods?
Yeah, people do have different gods.
So explain that. How was there different gods? I thought it was only one God.
Yeah, for me, there's only one God.
Well, you said for you, for the world, is it more than one?
I'm about to explain.
Okay.
So, like, for the world, you got a Muslim God.
Oh, my God. But how many gods is it?
To me, it's only one God.
But you saying it's different gods. I'm confused.
Because I can't control people making fake gods. So I'll say it different. Anybody can create a God.
Right.
Like, what's the
Money can be
lunatic?
God.
Yeah, money can be a God. Nature Boy made himself a God. He in jail. Nature Boy had them shitting in the grass and then walking on it thinking that that's natural.
Rashad Jamal made himself a God.
Yeah, who's that?
He's in jail too as well.
Yeah.
They just put a documentary out on him, and they had me in the documentary. So I guess they think I'm the next one to go to jail. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So anybody can make themselves a God. We make people God don't have it. Michael Jordan.
I'm not God.
Yeah, I'm not either. Michael Jordan is made a God. You say anything against Michael Jordan, they will fight you to death. Michael Jackson made a God. That's how easy a God can be made. So back in the days, you had Egyptians had gods, Babylonians had gods, Palestinians had gods, East Indians had gods. The Muslims had a God for every day of the year.
You saying these humans?
Yeah, these are all humans.
So you saying
Every God, I'm going to tell you, every God was a human being first.
What do you mean, a human being first?
Baal was a human being first. Nimrod, human being first. And they did something so great and powerful and was worshipped as a god that when they died, they became deified as a god. Baal became deified as a god because he farmed so well. That's why he was a weather god.
What do you mean, a weather god?
Meaning they prayed to Baal to have good weather for their crops to grow.
So he was a farmer and knew how to farm, and they made him a god.
They would farm like Baal, and they made him a god. That's how Baal became a god.
Right.
Nimrod became a god. Nimrod was a mighty hunter. Nimrod dies, he becomes a god. His wife say he didn't die. She jumped on his penis and birthed a son, and now this son is Nimrod reincarnated. None of that is true, but they believe it.
Right.
But all of them start from a human being. A human makes something famous into an idol.
So there's one God.
There's one God. That's the Most High.
So who is the God for the white folks then? If you're saying they're not having the same God that you have.
The God of the white folks,
Is it a human?
it's whoever they emulate.
No, I'm saying who is the God?
They don't have one. They reject God.
Who created them?
God created them. God. So now, okay, God created us all. When I'm saying that the other gods, so here's how it should be. Israel should be the number one nation, and then all the other nations would be following us as we follow the one true God. So under that guise, there wouldn't be no Muslim God, Palestinian God, East Indian God, or none of that. But we choose to follow every other God. The white man rejected. So the white man is an Edomite, biblically speaking, and he rejected God. He don't believe in no God. Have you ever believed ever believed in a white Christian?
The white man go to church.
Have you ever believed a white Christian?
They don't have emotion. They don't have anything.
So that the answer is no.
I don't believe in any preacher.
No, have you ever believed a white Christian? I ain't talking about a preacher.
I never believed a white Christian or
Listen,
black.
I've never seen a white Christian, preacher or otherwise, pray. I went to a Catholic church, and when I would see them nuns and them preachers and them singing, so I would never believe them. I never felt like they had a soul. They was always soulless to me.
What you mean by that? No rhythm?
No, nothing. No. They don't have nothing. That's why, think about everything they do for fun. Bungee jumping, roller coasting, skydiving. They got to do that type of shit to get a thrill to feel alive. We don't have to do that shit.
Right. It say the white people only been around a few thousand years.
Well, we only been around a few thousand years.
What do you mean? We've been around millions of years.
No, we haven't. What's the proof of that?
What's the
This Earth is maybe 20,000 years old.
Hold on. Make that make sense.
Right. So from my paradigm,
Well, that kind of makes sense because actually, if you pay attention to right now, is you're 16. Well, you may be right.
yeah, like the Earth is not that old. And you know what's crazy? On the millions of years, I remember I had this book. It's called Evolution Debunked, and they had took this lava. You know how lava forms rocks,
Right.
and so this volcano erupts in Hawaii in like 1965. So they know that rock was formed in 1965.
Right.
When they put that rock under their carbon dating, they got dates of 2 million years, 50 million years, 10 million years. Because you can't go back but so far trying to test that.
Right.
Realistically, if a day unto the Lord is as 1,000 years, if creation took 6 days, that's 6,000. 7-day rest, that's 7,000. And if they count this time, I think it's like another 7,000, 8,000 years that we've existed. So now you get into like maybe 16,000. So that's why I say roughly 16 to 20,000 years. That's how old the Earth actually is.
That's why it's just 16,046. And everybody know this, and I've been saying this for a while because if you're watching this, it was actually 13 months, and they cut it down to 12. So they changed the months, and then when certain rulers was to take over, they will cut history.
You know, I was about to say that there was a ruler. I don't know if he was Chinese or not. I was just reading this where he cut. I think his rulership might have been like in the 700s, but he wanted his rulership to represent the millennium. So they say that he cut that time.
He did.
In half. And that's in the Bible too when it says they would change times and seasons. Even the whole AD and BC is not really necessary. There's no reason to stop time to start a new time. Could have just continued the time.
Right. So they messed up time.
Even the daylight savings, they putting it, they're gonna make it the same, but there's no reason for daylight savings either.
Right. Why do you feel time was created? Who you think created time? The first time we seen time, I think it was the Sumerians. Other than that, I don't think no one knew what time was. Always
Time is good for structure. Because even time is relative.
Right.
Especially for us. Hey, I'll be there in a minute.
Right.
You do not think 60 seconds.
Right.
But if I say I'm going to be there in a minute, you know that time is shorter than if I say I'm going to be there in 5 minutes. Now you know that time is a little longer. But if I say, yo, it's going to be a minute before I get there, when me saying it's going to be a minute before I get there, you know that that's longer than I'll be there in a minute and 5 minutes. So time is just a relative, but it does give us a structure.
Right.
So time is necessary for structure, but time is relative. Like I don't even count birthdays. Like I don't know. I know how old I am because I know the year I was born, but I don't keep track of time as far as what year it is, somebody's birthday or anything like that, because all that is just relative.
Right. So you suggesting that white people and black people showed up at the same time?
They got the same mother and father.
What do you mean?
Isaac and Rebecca is the mother and father of the white race and the black race.
So a black woman just had a white child all of a sudden?
Yeah. Well, black wouldn't have existed. The word black wouldn't have existed at that time. A Hebrew and Shemitic mother and father birthed the white race and the black race.
I thought that was genetically created. Some people say they was genetically created in a lab. You heard that?
Yeah, I would like to kill the motherfucker that made them in the lab if that was true. I hate when motherfuckers say that shit. Like, why did you make these motherfuckers? Because you for sure, if you gonna make them, why didn't you make us with a better ability or some shit like that? It got to be a better answer, because that's a horrible motherfucker. Because they'll usually say it's a black person that made them in the lab.
Right.
Well, why did he make them like that?
Do you think white people fuck up the world? A lot of people think they structured the world. We talking about structure. A lot of people think structure came from white folks.
No, white people stole every bit of structure that they had. If you take America, when they came over here, they didn't know how to harvest the land, take care of the land.
Right.
They observed what the Native Indians did, and once they copied down their science, then they slaughtered them.
Right.
White folks went into Egypt, learned all their history, their culture, their mathematics, their science, and then they replaced them. White folks went into Israel, learned all our shit, and then replaced us. They're culture vultures. They're bandits.
Right.
They don't have a technology of their own. if you take America, when they talk about the inventions, every invention that the white man takes credit for, there's a black person behind it.
Right.
There's a black woman behind it.
Right.
The internet we was talking about the other day, the Wi-Fi, I believe that's a black woman that does that. Even the COVID-19 vaccine, black woman.
Right.
The astronauts flying and all that, black women that did that. But
Right.
they'll make the white people get credit for it.
Right.
The only thing the white man is good at, I remember Richard Pryor say, they'll make a bullet in a minute.
They're
They're good at weapons.
Right.
They're good at making things to destroy. They're not good at making things to give life. Heart surgery, black brother. So they're not good at those things. They're only good at destruction. They're the best at destruction. You want to talk about some killing? They good at that.
What do you think made them that way?
God made them that way.
What do you mean God made them that way?
God made them a vessel of dishonor.
So what God gonna do with them when they die?
God said, the Bible says, for this purpose have I raised thee up, so that I might destroy thee.
Come on, guy. You telling me God made them just to destroy them?
Facts.
No, you gotta explain that, because that's not.
You familiar with the Exodus story?
Explain that.
The Exodus, when the children of Israel was in Egypt,
Right.
God sent Moses there to send the plagues, destroy the firstborn, destroy the Egyptians.
Right.
God raised Pharaoh up to destroy him.
So God just raised people up to kill them.
God, in the Bible, it says, I wound, I heal, I kill, I make alive, and there's no God with me. God can do whatever he wants.
So God a psychopath.
God is a gangster. God is a warrior. God is power. That's what makes him the Most High God. He can do whatever it is that he wants.
Right. Why would you follow a psycho like that?
Why would I not follow a God that has the power to bless or curse?
Would he kill you?
He could, yeah.
Why would you follow somebody that just kill you?
Because he won't kill me because I obey him.
But if you don't obey, he kill you.
That's right.
But would you come back to get another chance?
Yeah, but I still would have to obey.
So you keep on getting chances until you
Yeah,
obey.
and he keep fucking you up. Look at black people. We've been over here in America going through the generation after generation after generation of what they call generational
Right.
curses.
So it's not like he's not fucking you up. He's straightening you up.
Yeah. See, now you're getting it. Now
Right.
you're getting it.
No, I'm just following what you're
Yeah,
saying.
because we're in the age of black people are in the age that really, as much as we talk about the white man, is getting to a point where we have enough knowledge that you can't talk about the white man as an excuse anymore.
Right.
It got to be, this is a point of history, but this is what we need to do.
Right.
Accountability,
Right.
compassion. Like, we got to take the bull by the horns of our own problems. Like, you'll never hear me say, the white man has to give us reparations. The white man has to give us land. The white man ain't got to give us shit.
Gave you Black History Month. Well, I'm just saying. Did they not?
But they hated that shit.
But they gave it to you.
Yeah, but they gave it to us on the shortest month. But what I mean is, in our neighborhoods, I always say this, right? Our neighborhoods are not poor, even though they look poor.
Right.
I know they're not poor because drug dealers make millions of dollars a year in the black neighborhoods.
Like, it
we're
makes
not
sense
poor.
then.
We just spend our money on drugs, whores, whatever other vice we may have. If we pulled our resources together and invested in ourselves, we wouldn't have to ask the white man for shit.
Speaking of that, if you know about the projects, if you're watching this, before they made the project, they did an experiment. They did experiments with rats, right? They put rats high up, and they noticed when the rats went higher, they started acting more crazier. So I want to ask you this. Do you think the hood is an experiment where they're watching and trying to figure out what is actually...
Yeah, I think the projects is definitely...
It's a project.
Yeah, projects is definitely an experiment.
Because they shut them down and closed them down after the experiment was over.
Definitely. Like in Jersey City, where I'm from, yeah, Marion Projects, Curry Woods Projects, Booker T, Lafayette. If I miss one, I apologize. I think those four was a couple.
It don't matter if you miss one. They ain't coming back up.
Yeah, all of them are gone.
Right, they gone.
Because the experiment is gone. Because it wasn't just that they put you in the projects, they also fucked with you as far as getting a job. They fuck with you with healthcare. They fuck with you with even getting out of those projects. So now you just got a bunch of rats. I'm using that on purpose because of the experiment you talk about, that's trying to survive in that maze. And so everything become environmental at that time.
It does.
So if you don't have access to resources outside of them projects, you're now going to manipulate and take advantage of the resources within the projects.
Right.
And you know what the resource is? Us. We're the resource.
Right.
How can I get him to give me money? I'm either rob him or I'm going to sell him something.
Right. If that don't work, listen, if you're watching this, if that don't work, if you from St. Louis or you ever been to St. Louis, they had a black fog, right? And the same black fog is in Memphis as everyone else. And they said this black fog was causing brain fog, right? And listen, you
That sound like Who Cloned Tyrone?
No, it's real. It was in St. Louis. It's black. When you go outside and you look, you couldn't even see your hand if you put your hand in this right in front of you. And it was everywhere. And it went on for months and months at a time. But it happened one day, then the next day it's cleared. It happened the next day it's cleared. So do you think that the government, say if we start getting awareness, do you think they seeing stuff like black smoke or food in order to destroy us? And why?
Because they have to bring us back to our base nature.
Right.
And so I think they will do everything. There was a study when they was doing some tests on corn to make us homosexual. Yeah, it was a study. Yeah, and they was experimenting on. They was experimenting on frogs.
You not finna do this.
Yeah, I did a lecture. Yeah,
so I eat corn, I be gay. So I can't eat corn no more.
No.
I mean, come on, let's be real. Come on. We cool, we vibing, right?
Listen, a black scientist came out and said
with the corn on the cob or corn in the can?
Corn on the cob.
Oh, good. I eat the corn in the can. I'm making sure. I ain't the cob.
Like I can go into the conspiracy, but
now
I don't
look
at that as a conspiracy because I think it's true.
Tell me about it.
I think that
Tell me how corn turn you gay.
I think they do. Well, they put stuff in the corn when you would eat it. Yep, and they tested it on frogs, and then they put it out there for us. You know where? If I tell you where it started at,
you gotta tell me.
Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. Now look at Houston. Atlanta is like the gay capital for black men,
and they love corn over there.
I don't know if they set the
No, I'm keeping it real, bro.
Right.
Nigga, every time you go to Atlanta, they got corn.
I'm telling you,
I ate a lot of corn. Oh, but I ain't never had them thoughts. I ate corn from Atlanta, but listen, I'm good. I'm good, right? I was gonna make sure I'm good.
Well, I mean, you ain't doing
no
no
I ain't
gay
did
shit.
nothing.
Okay, yeah, you good then.
Damn, so you telling me that corn?
Yeah, they did. This was back in 20. Well, I found an article in 2016. So I want to say maybe before 2016, 2015, 2014. Right. Anybody can look this up. So them experiments, the fog and stuff like that, I think you see that all. Music, I think they do everything to keep us in our base nature.
Right.
It's the propaganda of what they display on us on TV. There's 48 million black people, but the only people they choose to show of black people is in our base nature. Twerking, selling drugs, fighting, getting high. That's what they show us on the internet.
Right. But the white people do the same thing.
But they don't show them as much as they show us. They don't like black on black crime. You don't never hear the term white on white crime.
Right.
And white crime is just as prevalent as black crime.
Right.
But they don't push that envelope. Right. So people be looking for this great conspiracy of the fog, of the corn, of the chemtrails and stuff like that. But they would never think that the music is a conspiracy. They would never think that the internet itself is a conspiracy.
I know that too.
They control everything. I remember they had black people going crazy over Popeyes and the Chick-fil-A sandwich.
The sandwich was crazy, and it wasn't even that fucking good.
Over a sandwich.
They was killing over it, fighting over it.
The fighting over it, and then black people was acting like love that chicken for Popeyes made it black. Because it was from Louisiana, and Chick-fil-A is the white chicken. So now you ain't black if you eat the Chick-fil-A, you black if you eat the Popeyes. That's the and that's why I brought up Who Cloned Tyrone, because what did they put in there? Chicken, music, and church.
Right. But speaking of the sandwich, and I'm just gonna speak for the sandwich, they close on Sundays because they good Christians, right? And they white.
They're satanic. That's why they close on Sundays, because that's the worship of the sun god.
Ra.
Yeah.
So sun god.
Yeah.
So you telling me that people that go to church on Sundays
worshiping Ra.
And they don't know.
They don't know.
How is that so?
Because these are council agreements that they made decades, hundreds of years, centuries ago. I say it like
Right.
that you just don't know. Same thing with Christmas. Most people don't know that Christmas tree is in Jeremiah the 10th chapter. When you read in the Bible, what they telling you is about Jesus is not about Jesus. You read that in Jeremiah the 10th chapter, you hear about that Christmas tree.
Right.
But they don't know that.
Tell us about the Christmas tree, because everybody finna put up a Christmas tree in about 5 months.
Yeah, and in Jeremiah the 10th chapter, it says, the custom of the people are vain, for the workman of the axe cutteth the tree, bring it out of the forest, deck it with gold, and fasten it that it move not. And then it says, but it can't speak to you, because they are doing that because they believe that's a God. But we believe that that's about Jesus today. We believe that we're getting that tree to put gifts like the wise men gave gifts to Jesus. But Jeremiah and them back then is doing that because they believe the tree was a God and would speak to them. And when they bring gifts to the tree, it's to the tree God.
Right. Tree do have energy. Tree does do certain things for you, like the sun have energy, but I don't think a tree is God. I think back then they'll find certain type of things that's different, and then they'll worship it instantly.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
They realize that
It'd be easier to worship. The Egyptians worshiped the alligator, crocodile. They worshiped the dove. They worshiped the falcon. Yeah, you worship anything.
right. What's the reason for that? That people decide to worship things other than themselves.
You look for something to, I don't know, like we are a simple-minded people,
Right.
in our base nature. And all it takes is for somebody charismatic to do something and say, man, this bird did this to me. And then everybody would worship that bird. I remember they said a statue cried. This is in America. I think in America, they said a
Right.
statue cried. Next thing you know, everybody visiting that statue.
Right.
Because they want to see that crying statue.
Right.
Because we're so stupid. We're stupid.
What you
human
mean
beings.
we so stupid? I mean, people need.
We're gullible. We're gullible people.
Right. You saying people in general, or people as in black people?
Yeah, we believe in we want to believe in something outside of ourselves, and we believe if I believe in this, it'll change my life.
People in general, or black people?
Well, I was talking about people in general,
Right.
like because what I'm talking about now is not a black person thing.
So all people are being controlled right
Yeah,
now.
like that crescent moon and star. The reason why the Muslims worship that because they were night travelers. And so that moon was the light that they would use at night. So they needed that moon to shine at all times. So they would worship that moon. That's how they began to worship the moon.
Right. But people don't know this, or do you think that the reason for them not knowing it is so they can keep it secret? They want to keep it secret?
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, that's how it started. But that's not what we believe in now. It's different now. They'll say the tradition has changed.
Right.
It was born in this type of murder. Like Valentine's Day was born from Lou Priscilla and his lover. They would cut the hearts out of, when they would go to war, they would cut the hearts out and give it to each other. That's how
Right.
Valentine's Day started.
Right. Yeah, I knew that. And crazy, if you're watching this, I was actually born on Valentine's Day. So it's kind of crazy because if you're born on Valentine's Day, I never had to get nobody no gift. That was my birthday. So I'm like, it's all good. I'm keeping it real. So I never gave nobody shit on Valentine's Day.
Right.
And I always knew that story too.
Yeah, but now when you tell somebody that, okay, yeah, but that was then, but it's different now. You got this naked boy floating around stabbing people in the heart and shit like that. And then I think the history around that is demonic. So we just believe based off the lies that they tell us today.
Right.
So that's what we do.
It looked like we following a whole lot of
Bullshit.
demonic things that
Right.
was passed on to us.
Yes.
Right. Do that stop us from, becoming who we are, or going to the heaven? Is there a heaven for us?
Yeah. It stops us from establishing heaven.
What do you mean establish heaven? Heaven ain't a place to go after you die?
Heaven's supposed to be, the Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within you. You're supposed to establish heaven right here. But heaven has to be a body. It has to be a mass. It can't just be you. That's not heaven if it's just you. Heaven is the experience of the whole environment that you're around. That can only come about if that environment is on one accord. And you have to be on that one accord. America was on one accord when they was enslaving us. They established their heaven. They had it. And they fought to get it. We don't think to fight and get that heaven. And I'm not talking about to harm no white people or anything like that. But if your block is fucked up, you would call that hell. Our blocks are hell.
Right.
Like you mentioned in St. Louis, right? That's where you're
Right.
from? I'm from Jersey City. My blocks was hell. but I contributed to the hell.
Right.
Selling drugs, hanging out, doing all type of shit like that, fighting, getting in all type of shit. Now, if I wanted to establish heaven on my block, drugs have to stop. Violence has to stop. We have to change that environment where kids can play.
Right.
So that's how you actually establish a heaven.
So that's heaven on earth. What about
You don't die and
when
go
you die?
to when you die, you sleep.
What do you
Your
mean you
spit-
sleep?
Meaning
You
if
go black?
When you die, when you die, your your spirit separates from your physical, that flesh goes into the ground and decays. That spirit goes up to the most high until it's time for you to be back here.
What you mean time you get reincarnated?
Yeah. So when you see a baby born, that's an old spirit attached to a new flesh.
Right. So there's no after you die, you go on, you just come
Nah,
back
you
to
ain't
another
going
body.
yeah, you come back to another, whether it's instant, whether it take years, that's up to the most high, but that's the cycle of life.
So do you forget?
Yeah, because nobody has remembrance of your former life. That's what the Bible says.
So what's the purpose?
The purpose is to start over again and see what you do this time, to get your shit together.
So what if you get it right?
If I wish we would get it right. You know what getting it right looks
So
like?
you said nobody would never get it right, this will go on forever?
No, I'm not saying we won't. I'm saying we will get it right.
But what happened when we get it right? What happened
We
then?
rule. There is no drugs no more. There is no abortions. There is no gays. There is no hallucinogens. There is no molesting.
What about death?
Death is always going to happen. But
So
it won't
what's
be,
the purpose?
I'm going to tell you the difference. We always hear the stories about the kids dying at, like this young brother got shot by a black woman, 20 years old.
Right.
That stops.
Right.
That's what stops. Now you're dying at 100, 102. If someone lives to be 90 years old and they pass away, you're not crying for them. If you do shed a tear, it's a good memory.
Right.
Because you feel they lived a good life at 90.
They had enough life.
Exactly. But if they're dying at 20, we're like, damn, he had so much life in him. Why did he go
Right.
away? Why did this happen to him?
But if the
That's
point-
the death that goes away. It's
But-
not meant for us to live forever.
But if the point is just die and come back and forget, then what's the point of life?
That's the cycle of life. The cycle of life is before you die, you have children. They carry your name, and then you're born through those same children. That's the cycle of life.
So you
That-
come back to the same bloodline.
Yep. So we was black today. We was always black.
So you keep coming back to the same bloodline over and over again to push your bloodline forward.
That's right.
So is there ever an ending?
No. There'll never be a time that there's not this earth here and humans here.
Right. And it'd be the same humans here.
Yeah.
So the same humans here is the same humans that was created,
Yep.
but we just don't know.
Yes.
But some people say that they do know. Is it a way that people can know? Because some people say, yo, I can remember my past lives. Me, I can remember my past lives.
Yeah, I would have to see what you mean, and there's no way for me to verify that.
Glimpses of. I can remember things that I know didn't happen as reality because it's different times where I can appear to be older or I can appear to be younger, and I know it's real.
Maybe
because
it's a
I can
vision
see it.
you're seeing.
Yeah, a vision.
Yeah, you can anybody can get a vision or prophecy about themselves or others, and that could be a vision or a prophecy.
Right.
Doesn't mean that it happened in the former life. It could be something that's going to happen in the future.
Right. So there's no way to know. So what keep you calm knowing that you're gonna die one day and you're just gonna forget?
Because
and all of this life right now that you just live doesn't matter.
How I look at it, like I feel like whatever my lives were before was fucked up. So in this life, because I was born in a fucked up state, in a fucked up condition, I've overcome that condition. And so now my job is to live properly, raise my kids properly, so that when I come back again, I'm born in a better state or condition than I was the first time.
But you're not gonna
I don't
remember.
think I'm gonna die though.
Huh?
I don't have a concept of me dying.
You know what? When I say that, I say this for a reason. Because when I say that, people like, man, what you mean you're not gonna die? I say death is a choice.
Yeah, I was told I wasn't gonna die.
But death is a choice. You don't have to die.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't die. As people
And that's a demon.
death.
Thinking about dying, that's a demon.
So you may live forever.
Why not? Why can't that be possible? Why can't I? Now, I believe that Christ is going to return. Like, I believe Christ is going to return. I believe God. When you see how they releasing all these alien
Right.
files and all that shit, I think because we're closer to a phenomenon.
Right.
We're close. Like, first of all, I want to say, you would think they would have clearer footage and videos and shit by now.
Right.
They still showing these old-ass footages where it's blurry and pictures ain't as clear.
Because them old footage.
Yeah, but I think that they're releasing all of this footage because there's a alien UFO phenomenon that's right around the corner, and they need to prepare us to fight them. That's the phenomenon.
What if they preparing
Now,
us to fight Jesus coming back?
that's what I was going to get to, because that's exactly what they're doing. For me, I know that this is not a preparation to fight against aliens. This is preparation to fight against Christ, because that's what the Bible says. The Bible literally says that in the middle of the nations going to war with themselves, Christ is going to return, and then they're going to put their differences aside and fight them. That's why you see the movie propaganda. That movie, it was just a it was an alien movie that just came out.
Don't forget
I just
now.
saw it. I forgot the name of the movie. I just saw it. That shit was fire.
Right.
It was fire. Was it Steven Spielberg? It was a Steven Spielberg movie.
Is it on regular TV?
No, it was in the movie theaters.
Oh, okay.
And the movie was about these two random people
Right.
had this alien type of gift of communicating with each other.
Right.
They meet.
Right.
When they meet with these other people that also have these gifts.
Right.
And then the truth comes out about how the government has had these aliens in captivity. One alien escaped. When that alien escapes, he's now presenting to the whole world. They're in the whole news media, releasing all the alien footage, showing all of this shit right here, and then it cuts off right when the alien is about to speak and deliver its message.
Right.
It was a beautiful movie. I thought it was an excellent movie. All those movies is preparing us so we'll forget that Christ is supposed to return. He'd be like,
Right.
that's the aliens. We got to fight them.
Right. So there's no such thing as aliens.
Yes. I just wouldn't call them an alien.
What would you call them?
I would call them Christ. I would call them the angels. I would call them Michael. I would call them Gabriel. I would call them Raphael, Allah, Uriel. Those are the biblical names that are attributed to the aliens. That's what I would call them.
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
So when we see those, we're seeing biblical figures.
Yes.
And what is the purpose of them seeing us?
Now, I don't know if that's some of that technology I think is the white man's technology, creating spaceships that look like what they describe in the Bible.
On purpose.
Yeah. But when you see the ones where they're shooting down something, that's one of the angels doing that, shooting down
Right.
something.
So you're saying they're duplicating stuff to get the people for a scare, but some of the stuff is real.
Just watch. In a year or two, just watch. They're not the government never releases things by accident.
Right.
And their willingness to release all this UFO shit is not by accident. It's on purpose.
Right. Trump said that he released it because Obama said something about it first. He said he didn't want to release it, but since Obama said it, Obama the one that broke national
Yeah, they all
security.
work together though. Obama, Trump, Biden, Gore, Bush, Clinton, all of them work together.
They all related.
Yeah, they all related. You know that's crazy how every president is related.
They don't talk about that.
Nobody talks
so
about that.
it cannot be an election. Election
It
got to be
cannot.
rigged.
And the play is Democrat and Republican. That's the play.
Right.
The play is like when black people say, the the Republicans was formed to fight against the Democrats, which is true.
Right.
It was all Democrat. The Republicans formed to fight against slavery. But what is also true is that it's the same government still, though.
Right. Why do they say Democrat is for black people, and then all of a sudden when everybody start voting for Trump, they say Republicans is for black people? Which one?
Because Republicans was black. Black people looked at Republicans first because Republicans fought to free them in slavery.
But
And
why
it
everybody turned
switched
Democrat?
in the 60s when Kennedy
Okay.
came. When Kennedy came, and I think they made a deal with the black civil rights leaders at that time, then it became a shift into the Democratic Party.
Right. I want to say something that you said, and I want people watching this to understand this. Speaking of Kennedy, everybody think Kennedy was killed for a lot of reasons, but Kennedy was killed sort of like for what he said, basically saying that this is not their land, saying that someone was here and the people that was here was not the Indians, that this land belonged to black people. He said that, and they killed him. A lot of people know he said that, but you can look this up right now. He
Oh, he
said
did?
that it's a
Okay.
speech. It's a speech. He said that this land, you think that this land that we discovered it, he basically said that Columbus didn't discover this land.
Oh, that's a fact.
That's what he said.
Yeah,
and they
that's a
killed him
fact.
for that. You think that's something for them to kill him for?
You know, so many stories with Kennedy.
I
I heard
think
the
to
mob
myself.
got him killed. I heard the mob got him killed because the mob supposedly had a hand with him getting elected. I would be surprised by that. him getting killed. Shoot, man, you let the conspiracy theorists tell it. They'll tell you it wasn't it wasn't Oswald. Was it Oswald?
He got shot in the car. He got shot by the driver of the car.
That's what I was about to say. The driver, they'll show some video. They say the driver of the car just turned around and shot him.
But I'm saying, when you're looking at this, a lot of pictures.
You know, back on the conspiracy, you could take that up to the towers.
Right.
When them towers fell, that's a controlled demolition.
Right. But they just giving us AI. I want people watching to understand that we just getting AI. And right now, if you're looking at your iPhone 17, if you think that the 20 is not ready, you're crazy. So a lot of times we getting this AI technology where they can change pictures. Do you think that they just now doing it now, or a lot of pictures have been changed that we got now?
I think it's just what we have now, what the CIA, NASA, FBI, what they have is far outweighs us. They release it to us in increments.
Right.
Almost like that movie, The Elementals, where they wouldn't release certain weaponry to humanity because they said they didn't want them to develop too fast.
Right.
They release shit to us by increments. That 4G increment, the 5G increment. They're almost up at 6. All of that stuff is just incremental release, but they're utilizing it already.
Right. I want to say something before we get too forward from the subject, because it's kind of like still pondering in my head. Die. Come back. Me personally, I believe in reincarnation. I know there's a reincarnation, but I also know that there's no out of here. But a lot of people
there's no what
out of here. It's only exactly what you said. You die, come back, die, come back,
die,
die, come back,
die,
forever.
Come back. Yep.
But a lot of people want it to be a heaven, or want it to be a hell.
Right.
Why was these things created?
They was created for us specific. Most people that believe in a physical heaven and hell in America, our people, believe that because that's how hard slavery was.
Right.
All their songs would be like, when I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I can't wait to see the Lord. It would always be about death because this life was that hard. And hell was for the white man. Like, even when I call the white man.
So hell was created for the white man.
No. What I mean is black people, when we call the white man the devil, they had a good book called When I Was a Slave, where reporters was going to slaves and getting stories from them. Them black slaves was calling the white man the devil.
Right.
And was praying for them to go into hell.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. The white man is more savage than what they say hell is. When you think about what they say hell is, it's a white man in a pitchfork, you're on fire, you're getting tormented. But I've heard stories of the white man hanging women upside down, cutting the babies out. I've heard of white men putting babies and letting alligators eat them for alligator bait. I've heard of white men putting us in cauldrons, burning us, putting oil on us, tar and feathering us.
Eating us,
buck breaking us. And you telling me there's a Satan that's worse than that?
I don't think it's butt breaking us. I don't think nothing worse than getting your butt.
Yeah, I don't. So for us, we didn't believe that I think we didn't believe it was possible for us to get into that hell. But we was taught that if we be good to this white man in this plane, we would go to a greater place.
Right.
So in origin, just think about when we was talking about earlier with the Christmas origin and stuff like that. So in origin, we only believed in that because we thought that was better than oppression.
Right.
But in today's time, it's just mental training.
Right.
And we have to understand you have to be willing to take and make your heaven.
Right.
Why you got to die and go to some place called heaven?
All right. So how do one prepare for death then? If it's like, okay, cool.
I don't prepare for death. I prepare for life. If I obey the commandments, I prepare for life.
Right.
We preparing for death every day. Every day we out there living how we want to live, doing what we want to do. We are preparing for death.
Right.
When you actually obeying and keeping the commandments, you're preparing for life, because keeping the commandments, you avoid things that are for death.
Right. So how do you avoid things? A lot of people watching this, it's something called muscle memory, right? They're doing things and they don't know that they're doing it. So how can you avoid to stop from doing things that you don't know that you're doing, that you have no awareness that you're doing it?
When I wanted to be a good drug dealer, I had to watch drug dealers. I had to watch where they stashed it. I had to watch where they hid it on their person.
Right.
So how they hid it under their ball sack, I had to watch that. Not literally watching them in their balls, but seeing them stuff it down there.
How they do it.
System and how they doing it. Putting it under the car tire, hiding it in the alleyway. I had to follow those things. I had to train myself to be a good drug dealer.
So was you good?
I thought I was a horrible drug dealer.
So the training didn't even work then.
No, the reason why I say that because I won't say I was super duper successful.
I was horrible too. I kept giving my dope away.
Yeah, I wasn't successful at it, and I'm glad. So I was not a good drug dealer, but the reason why I'm glad about that because successful drug dealers are either dead or in jail or in and out.
I used to give the drugs away. All they gotta do is beg. For real, like damn, I got it.
You know, my struggle was my daddy was a dope fiend, so I was selling shit, but then my conscience would kick in like, damn, my dad was gone. So I would have that type of conscience with it. So my point in saying that is the way you learn to be good at evil is you get up under evil men. So the only way to learn to be good or how to prepare for a good life, you have to get up under good men. You have to follow somebody that's actually living alternatively than what you are, and then it would become muscle memory.
Right.
Like if you used to go into the club and hanging out, if you used to robbing, you got to put the gun up. You got to learn discipline. You got to stop selling drugs. You got to stop getting high. So maybe you can't smoke 20 cigarettes a day. You might have to lessen that. You might have to lower that. So the same way you trained yourself to have such a strong condition where one blunt might have got you on the floor. Now you can smoke 12.
That's how I feel.
So now you got to condition yourself and wean yourself off. Everything comes with training.
Right, so go down.
Now you flip that back to what we was talking about earlier when I said women have to be trained. We got to be trained too.
Right.
Because everything is training. You trained yourself to have that high tolerance. You trained yourself to follow these methods to be a drug dealer, to be a robber, to be a thief, to be this, to be a gang member. Now you got to train yourself to be something different.
Right. That's crazy because life is full of training. You train women, you train yourself.
Right.
Do the training ever stop?
No. Because the patterns of life don't stop. The methods of life don't stop.
Right.
The devil never stops.
Right.
The temptation that's out there never stops.
Right.
There's so many different ways to do evil.
Right.
So it's always a training.
Right. So what is life's purpose?
Life purpose, Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter says, fear God and keep the commandments. This is the whole duty of man. That's your duty.
Hold up. So I'm just here to fear God.
And keep the commandments.
The 10 Commandments.
No, it's more than 10 commandments, but you keep the laws that apply to you.
So when do
so that we can rule.
So when will life become for me?
When you're ruling.
I don't want to rule.
What you want to do?
I just want to be me.
Okay, so then let somebody else rule. You still got to keep the commandments. You would be a subordinate to the ruler.
I don't got a problem with the commandments. I got a problem with ruling over people.
No problem. Then you ain't got to be the ruler. You could be the subordinate to the ruler. So you may be like the supervisor.
Right.
But then you got the president.
Right.
Or you got the king, or you got the captain, or you got the general. You got that.
Right.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, I want to know this. For people that's watching this and that have sat and watched this whole interview, right, and they still kind of like, I don't know. What would you tell them to convince them that there actually are Hebrew Israelites? Well, not Hebrew, because you taught me about that.
Yeah,
Israelites.
Just Israelites is fine. But I don't have an issue with Hebrew Israelite. I'm never going to say, hey, don't call me that.
Right.
Right? Here's what I'll tell you. For my people, for blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, it tells you that if you keep the commandments, we will be above all nations. We'll be blessed in the city. We will be blessed in our jobs. Our children will be blessed. Our health will be blessed. And then in verse 15, it says, if we break these commandments, we would be cursed in the city. We'd be cursed in the field, which is our jobs. We would hate our brother. We would hate our wives. We would hate our husbands. We would hate our children. We would have a nation from afar rule over us. We would worship gods that we don't even know.
That's happening now.
That's us. Because we are the Israelites that were told not to break these commandments.
Wow.
And that's in the Bible. And the last verse, verse 68, says that ye shall be brought into Egypt again with ships, and you shall be sold for bond to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. That word Egypt means bondage. And we were brought over here on ships, sold to our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and we have not been redeemed or saved yet.
That's crazy. Listen, this one of the episodes where you got me thinking, right? I can't say I'm Israelite yet.
Yeah.
But a lot of people probably have converted because as I look and see, I know I'm not black. I know I'm not a nigga.
I'm not black either.
I know I'm not colored. I know I'm not from Africa.
Right.
Right? These are the things that I know. Some just telling me, yo, that ain't right.
Right.
Right? So your information is needed, right? But listen, for the people that's watching this, how do they get in contact with you? Because they may want to join your school,
Definitely.
or they may want to get more information
Definitely,
on
man.
Israelites.
On Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, I'm Tazaryach. If you just search up Tazaryach,
Can't nobody
T-A,
spell that.
I was about
Okay,
to spell
yeah,
it. See?
yeah,
I was about to spell it.
yeah. Can't nobody spell that.
Tazaryach. That's Tazaryach. You can hit me up. I answer all messages that you send, and I can always send you a number to a school in your zone because we got schools across the planet Earth, man.
Right.
And we'll take care of you.
Right. For all the women that's trying to get trained, how many wives you got?
The internet says 47. I don't have 47 though. That's what the internet say.
How many you got?
I don't say because I like that the internet.
So do you got around 40?
No. I don't have more than 10. I don't have double digits.
Have you ever had double digits?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are you accepting applications?
I mean,
Right.
if the right woman can convince me to train her, maybe.
So would you, for this, I just want to know this, would you leave all your women for one woman?
No. Because if I take that woman, I wouldn't want a woman to think that she has that type of power to make me leave the other women, because then I'm not doing that of myself. I'm doing that for this woman.
So you ain't leaving none of them?
No. Not for one woman, no.
But you'll leave them and get more women?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a life there. I'm telling you,
I'm
listen.
trying to bring you to this life, man. Come on over.
Listen, if you watch this episode, this one of the episodes where you're like, damn, I can have all them wives. I want to be an Israelite. Because if you be a Muslim, you only can have
But
five.
you can't leave them, though.
What you mean you can't leave them?
You can't leave the women, though. You got to stay with them.
So when you marry, you stuck.
Yeah. When you have sex with them. If you just talking to them and you leave them, that's good. Once you put your dick in them.
So once you fuck them, so how long you stuck with them? Like, do you fuck them and not fuck them for a week and then you good? Like, when do that stop? No, for real.
It don't.
So once you fuck them, you stuck with them forever?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can never leave them?
Nope. Be careful. Choose wisely. That's why women should think about who they have sex. Like a woman wasn't meant to have like 10 sex partners, 20 sex partners, and all that shit. Like, that's why she's so fucked up in the head. Because when you say train, she think about all the other 20 niggas that couldn't train her. Now you the 21st nigga think you're going to train her. She got them 20 niggas brain.
That sound deep as fuck. I'm overthinking like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Life is fucked up. But pussy's still good. Listen, if you just watched this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, right? Streets Unplugged. We got to plug Streets in because
right.
Streets ain't been plugged in a while. I swear to God, my mama, stop playing with me.
Stop playing with me.
Yeah.
Just when you thought there was no hope for humanity, he's here with love, peace, and he is not to be played with on his mama, Dr. Unk.
You got any weapons? You think it's gonna poke me?
Yeah, my dick a weapon. You stole this shit from Skid Row. Take it back. Take this shit back to Skid Row. Stop playing with me.
She says he's tall. How tall? When he's ugly. How ugly? She said he's black.
How black?
What's the matter with you?
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yes, you guys ready? Stand up right there.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, you touched her titty. No, sir. I saw you touch her titty, nigga. Your wife getting fucked right now.
Shut up!
No,
You know what? I think I'm gonna take you
no,
first.
women been enslaved.